I need to tell you something, and I don't know if you'll want to hear it. But at my age, staying quiet feels worse than speaking up. My name is Margaret Chen. I am 82 years old, and I've spent the last decade trying to understand how my generation handed you a world this broken. I grew up in the 1950s in a suburb outside Pittsburgh. My father worked at the steel mill. My mother kept the house. We had a car, a lawn, a television set that got 3 channels. We thought we were living the dream, and in a lot of ways, we were. But what we didn't know, what we couldn't see, was that the dream we were building was going to cost you everything. I remember being 23 years old, sitting in a brand new shopping mall with my girlfriends, drinking cola from a glass bottle. Everything was clean and bright and new. We didn't ask where the plastic came from. We didn't think about landfills. When something broke, you threw it away and bought another one. It felt like progress. It felt like freedom. We thought we'd figured out how to live. My husband Robert got a job at an advertising firm in 1965. Good salary, benefits, an office with a window. We bought a house in the suburbs with a big backyard, 2 cars, 3 kids by the time I was 30. I stayed home like I was supposed to. He worked late like he was supposed to. We did everything right, according to the rules we'd been given. And for a long time, it worked. But here is what I didn't understand then. We were so focused on building our own comfortable lives that we stopped paying attention to what it was costing. Robert's firm sold cigarettes to teenagers. They sold soda and fast food and cars people didn't need. I didn't ask questions. The money was good. We had college funds to think about, a retirement to plan for. It was easy to look away. I remember the first time I saw a news report about climate change. It was 1988. I was 54 years old. They interviewed scientists who said we were warming the planet, that it was going to get worse, that we needed to act. And I watched it sitting on my couch, and I thought, well, that is terrible. And then I changed the channel, because what was I supposed to do? Give up our lifestyle. It felt impossible. It felt like someone else's problem. That is the thing about my generation. We were really good at deciding. Things were someone else's problem. When wages stopped growing in the 80s, we didn't fight back hard enough. We just worked more hours. When pensions disappeared and turned into 401ks, we shrugged and figured we'd manage. When housing prices started climbing faster than salaries, we said, well, we got ours. We told ourselves that if you worked hard enough, you'd be fine. And for a lot of us, that was true. But we didn't notice that the system was changing underneath our feet, and we didn't protect it for you. I didn't see it clearly until my granddaughter, Emma, came to visit me 3 years ago. She was 26, college degree, 2 part-time jobs, living with roommates in an apartment she could barely afford. She sat at my kitchen table and cried because she didn't know if she'd ever be able to buy a house, get married, have kids. All the things I'd done by her age felt impossible to her, and I wanted to comfort her. I wanted to tell her it would be okay. But I looked at her, really looked at her, and I realized she was right. I'd bought my first house for $60,000 in 1968. That same house is worth $800,000 now. Emma makes more money than I did back then, but everything costs 10 times more, and her salary hasn't kept up. The math doesn't work anymore. and my generation let that happen. We voted for tax cuts because we wanted to keep more of our money. We didn't think about what it meant for schools, for infrastructure, for the future. We stayed quiet when corporations started prioritizing shareholders over workers because our retirement accounts were tied to the stock market. We benefited from unions and pensions and Social Security, and then we didn't fight hard enough. When those things were taken away from you, we got ours, and we convinced ourselves that you'd get yours too if you just worked hard enough. But it wasn't about working hard. The system changed, and we let it change because it didn't hurt us. I think about this all the time now. I think about how we knew about climate change for 40 years and did almost nothing. How we let education costs spiral out of control. How we allowed health care to become trouble. How we made housing an investment instead of a human right. How we prioritized short-term comfort over long-term sustainability. Robert died 6 years ago. Towards the end, when he knew he didn't have much time left, he said something I've never forgotten. He said, "We thought we were building something great, but maybe we were just taking everything we could before it ran out." He was talking about his career, his generation, all of it. And he was right. Here is what I want you to understand. We're not monsters. We were just people trying to live our lives, raise our kids, pay our bills. But we made a choice, over and over again, to prioritize our own comfort over your future. And we made that choice because it was easy, because it benefited us, because we could. I don't think most of us meant to fail you. I think we just didn't think about you enough. So what can you do differently? I've thought about this question for 3 years now, ever since that conversation with Emma. And I think the answer is this. You have to care about what happens after you are gone. My generation got really good at thinking in 4-year election cycles, in quarterly earnings reports, in "I'll be retired by then, so it won't be my problem." We optimized for our own lifetimes and stopped there. You can't do that. You have to make decisions that won't pay off for 30 years. You have to protect things that won't benefit you directly. You have to fight for systems and policies and changes that might not even fully happen in your lifetime. That sounds exhausting, I know. It sounds unfair. You shouldn't have to fix what we broke, but someone has to, and it is going to be you. Don't make the same mistake we made of thinking the world ends when you do. Build things that last longer than you will. Care about the people who come after you the same way you wish we had cared about you. Vote for policies that won't pay off for decades. Support systems that benefit people you'll never meet. Sacrifice a little bit of your own comfort if it means a more sustainable future. And when someone older than you tells you that you are being too idealistic, that you need to be realistic, that things have always been this way, don't listen. We said those things too. We said them because change is hard and we were tired, and it was easier to accept things as they were. But accepting things as they are, I can't fix what my generation did. I can't give you back the stable climate, the affordable housing, the strong social safety nets, the secure jobs with pensions. That is gone, and I am sorry. I am so deeply sorry. But I can tell you this, you are not crazy for being angry. You are not entitled for wanting what we had. You are not lazy for struggling in an economy we rigged in our favor. And you are not wrong to demand better. My generation made a choice to take everything we could and worry about the consequences later. You have a choice too. You can do the same thing we did, or you can be the generation that finally breaks the pattern. Because at 82, looking back at everything we built and everything we destroyed in the process, I finally understand that the measure of a generation isn't what you accomplish for yourself. It is what you leave behind for the people who come next. We failed that test. Please don't fail it too. If this meant something to you, I hope you'll leave a comment below about what this brought up for you. What resonated, what challenged you, or what you are going to do differently. I'd be honored to know these words reached you and sparked something real. Thank you for giving an old woman your time.